Why did Catwoman stay home?
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
She wasn't feline well. It's the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube. Thanks for stopping by to check out this week's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. On behalf of our other fanboys, Tim the Comic Collector, ComicFoo 2814, hashtag Foo is a furry, and silver-haired Bronze Age Babe, we say hello to one that showed up. Signature King, Tony Fett. How are you?
I am wonderful. Couldn't be better. Did a lot of yard work. It was Midwest nice, but not like East Coast nice today. So I was very productive.
Yeah.
Outside doing some yard stuff. Yeah, it was nice and in the upper 40s, low 50s. So that's perfect weather for me.
Yeah. So earlier this week, it was bitterly cold in the Midwest, and that did not help my mood ring color. I was pretty not doing well earlier this week, and today, I mean, it got into the 40s and I still was freezing. I haven't warmed up yet, but March is almost here.
Yeah. Here in my neck of the woods in Pennsylvania, my flowers are starting to bud out of the ground. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Bro, it's February. Like, guess the old saying is true. January showers bring February flowers.
I guess so. I guess that's the truth.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you back for another edition of Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. If you're watching on the Rewind, thank you so much for being here and being part of the show today. We're very excited for it. We have some folks that are joining us in the live chat, starting with Ruben Guzman, White Tiger, cool, calm, collected, Muabunga. That's
Muabunga
awesome.
Indeed.
Yes. And we have a meow going on to John's Comics with Kids, who has a mama cat in his residence.
Cool, very cool.
Look who's here. Metarog is here.
The god of knowledge.
Should we say it now, or should we say it at the end of the show, or should we say it both?
Your decision, your channel.
Our show, our decision.
That's true, but you're the one who's got to press the button.
Next week's special guest on Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, Metarog. We are so excited. You have no idea how excited we are. We've been talking about this in the group chat. So
yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
And we're going to say it again at the end of the show too. I just couldn't wait. I just wanted to say it. So, hey, look at that from Canada, Jean Malo, who I call Malo Cups, and he has no idea because they don't have Malo Cups in Canada.
There's a reason we're a superpower.
Oh, good. Roger's excited too. He's picked out some great stories for us too. So that's good.
I'm excited.
Yeah. We're gonna have a really good show next week too. So, and then just a little podcast is here. Why did the hyperlink break up with the web page? That's awesome. I don't get it.
No. He was saying for the yeah. Now he put the answer in. At the bottom.
Because it felt disconnected. Oh.
That's too funny.
Nice. So I should add, too, that just a little podcast dropped a new video on his channel.
Yes.
He's been putting out more content. So if you're not subbed up to him, make sure to sub up to Cookie and all of our wonderful people in the comic book community. Because you're going to find some great content. Just a link joke. Link.
That's funny.
Yeah. So those are our guests so far. As more pop in, of course, we'll make sure to acknowledge them. Major comic book news.
I've got several things. You go first.
Well, I think we should start out with the big one.
Go for it.
Well, first, I guess we'll answer this question. What in the furry happened to ComicFoo? Take it away, Tony.
Well, he got caught by the local dog catcher, and he is currently in the pound. We're just waiting on a rabies vaccination verification before they let him out. So
pretty much.
Hopefully that comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Well, I think they kind of figured out that it's better to do these conventions when it's so cold versus doing these conventions that he attends when it's July.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine that suit, it probably doesn't smell great in August.
It probably smells better in January, February, March.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does. So big news as we turn to comic book news. It's happened, a few times, but it's happening again. DC and Marvel are collaborating on a project coming out this year.
Now, if you recall, last year, about this time, we talked about it. Mm-hmm. Early leaks came out. It wasn't clear what it was, but it looks like we're going to have a little more clarification as time goes on. There's a little bit of news on it right now. But there's still a lot of questions about it. But that's still cool and very exciting. Yeah,
it's really fun. Did say that working on some of the collaborations of the previous stuff that they put back in prints within, like the last year to year and a half, kind of made them want to do a brand new project too. And we don't know what characters, we don't know when,
we don't know the story. Yep.
But we do know that it will be 2 issues, one published by DC, and then I believe a different story with both sets of characters published by Marvel.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's really going to be, this is probably the one and only time that I'm probably going to be very happy with both DC and Marvel's weird obsession with 50 variant covers, because I'm sure we're going to get some banger variants for this.
Yeah, the only thing that I really worry about, they'll do something like a 1 in 1,000 incentive cover, and that's so unfair.
They're going to. I guarantee you, they're going to.
That's so unfair,
Yeah, they're going to. They're going to do the 1 in 5s, because Marvel does 1 in 5s and 10s too sometimes. DC doesn't do that. They start at 25. But what's great is, Marvel does their 5s and 10s, DC does the 15s, the 50, on up, and I mean, they both go higher than that, but I can only imagine all the store exclusives that are going to come out. Midtown's going to have theirs, and Vault is going to have theirs. It's going to be outrageous. I'm going to predict it now. There's going to be over 100 variants for both covers.
I say, if you thought the Batman Spawn crossover variants were out of control, it's going to be nothing compared to what's going to happen with these.
They are going to be absolutely insane. And I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up the book, at least one copy, for sure. I'm kind of excited for it, but I mean, that's the problem. And that's why I don't like those high ratios, because then it's whoever has the most money can have them. And that's, to me, not what comic books are for everybody. So
yeah, I agree. And there's going to be some people taking advantage of it in terms of, LCS store owners, and be like, well, now I'm going to jack up the price on this one because on eBay it's going for 50, but I paid 10 for it. So yeah, it's going to be 50 now. I get it. They're business. They got to make money too. But, at some point, these are your customers. So luckily, I have a great shop that doesn't do that. And they have every opportunity to do it, and they don't. So
yeah,
hats off to them.
Yeah. Say their name.
Comics Connection. Awesome. Right here in good old, here, I got the thing right here. I can reach it. Maybe not. Yeah, right here. Got the shirt, the yearly shirt from Comics Connection. So if you're ever in the area, check them out. Boom. Because they do the memberships, the yearly memberships. This is the first year they did the memberships, and this is the exclusive T-shirt you get to do with the Comics Connection people. So check them out. Go deal with Ned at Comics Connection. He's the head honcho down there, but everyone down there is great.
Yeah,
at both locations.
I'll give a shout out to mine, Westfield Comics in Madison, Wisconsin. So
Westfield Comics
is awesome. Yeah, Bob takes good care of me. Aqua Jeff is always fun to talk with.
Very cool.
Yeah,
it's great that we all have these different experiences with LCSs. I'm sure there's some really terrible ones out there too.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
I haven't been to too many ones. There's a few that I was like, yeah, no thanks, but I've heard some horror stories, and I kind of want to go to a few that are just awful.
No, you don't.
I do, because I want to know what a bad one is like. It'll make me appreciate mine even more.
Well, what else do you have news-wise? I mean, to me, that was the big.
That's a big one. That is a big one. Another one is Daniel Gregg is out as Sergeant Rock.
That's right.
So that's a bummer, because I thought he was going to be able to pull that one off. But okay. It's just a weird character that I think is going to have a very small fan base. I think a lot of people are going to see it probably based on whoever the lead actor is. So they really got to nail that lead actor and make it work. Another one is Jeremy Adams signed an exclusive DC deal. He will no longer be working with both. He'll be exclusive to DC. So that's pretty cool. I like his stuff. I heard he's really easy to talk to. The new Batman #1 that comes out in September, they're getting a new #1, new volume already, is getting a costume change.
Oh, really?
Yes. He's going to be, it's not drastic. They didn't just run with it and make it, look really dumb. He's going to have a lot more blue. Like you would see, I think like in the 80s, he had like a darker blue and a black. And they're going to go back to that. So that's kind of nice. And his belt, his utility belt, is going to be bright, super bright yellow.
Okay.
Which
that sounds more like the Batman that I'm familiar with.
Yeah. They're just going back to the old classic Batman, it looks like. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And the biggest news for me that I like to see is Constantine. From Keanu Reeves' mouth less than 12 hours ago. He said the script for the new Constantine movie, #2, starring Keanu Reeves, is in. They have it. It's approved. It's ready to go. It was submitted earlier this week, and DC gave it the thumbs up, so they got the script, which is a big step forward. A lot of movies don't even make it to there, so they've got the script. I don't know if they're going to when they're going to start filming. Hopefully soon, maybe this year. That'd be a lot of fun. But perfect. I think that's pretty cool. I'm very excited for that.
So I have a question for you.
Yep.
So Tony likes foil. Yes.
Yep.
Tony likes Shazam.
Yeah.
Yes. Tony does not like facsimiles.
No. Well, it depends. It really depends.
Okay, well, that brings me to this question. Shazam foil facsimile coming in May, just announced. Does Tony get it?
Depend which Shazam?
It is. Do you not know? Or
no, I have no idea.
What about this?
Ooh, is it treasury sized?
It is treasury sized, and maybe a regular cover as well, but there is going to be a foil for it.
See, I have that treasury right now. I own that one. I'm happy, but also disappointed you brought this up at the same time.
Okay.
Happy because I probably am going to get it.
I think that's an amazing cover.
It's an amazing cover, and if you know anything about the story, I won't spoil it, but the cover is very deceiving.
Okay.
And I won't tell anybody why. Short answer, yes. I probably will pick it up. I probably will get the foil cover. There is another cover that I'm getting.
Okay.
A very, 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 very rare variant. It's actually in the mail right now on its way to my house.
Okay.
It is super rare. They've only printed. Let me back up. There's only 500 copies of that known to exist in the wild. I had made a back end deal with someone in our community, and I got one. And it cost me probably more than what I should have paid, but I have it. Hopefully, we'll see what kind of condition it is in, but I have it, and I can't wait for it to arrive and share it with you. But it's that issue, that cover, but there's something very different about it. I won't spoil what it is, but so stay tuned for that little teaser. But
okay, cool.
That's exciting.
Incidentally, that foil facsimile for that Treasury is due May 28th is the release date that's scheduled for that.
May 28th?
May 28th.
Cool.
I want to say hi to Joel the Geek, who's popped in to spend some time with us. Hope that you've had a great weekend. It's always great to see you.
Yes.
I'd love to have you on the show in the future, too. So speaking of other upcoming facsimile releases, I think it's no surprise with the upcoming Superman movie that this character would be getting a facsimile. It's the first appearance of Metamorpho. So Brave and the Bold, number 57 facsimile. There's a lot going on in that cover, but it kind of works, and I like the coloring on it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there'll be a foil on that, too. That's on May 7th. Here we have Sergeant Rock and the Easy Company and Our Army at War getting a facsimile, issue 151. That is coming out May 21st. There is Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special facsimile edition.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And that is May 14th. Some more Batman 616
Nice.
facsimile.
Nice.
That will be coming out May 7th. I think that's a pretty sick cover right there. The Batman 617 facsimile edition.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is nice.
May 21st. So
May 21st.
Those are more of the facsimiles that are scheduled for May releases in DC Comics.
I got to pre-order that comic from no sponsorship involved, but My Comic Book or Comic Hub. They do the affiliate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joel. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I made it the money that I used to buy it myself.
Oh. There's Tony. There's someone else that Tony is involved in a D&D group that plays on most Sunday nights. But when they get done with their current campaign, I'm trying to get most of those people over in with us before they start up a new campaign. And Tony is definitely invited for that. So,
they say Tonys are like Highlanders. There can be only one.
Well,
and I am ready to relinquish that title.
That's funny. So yeah, those are some of the facsimiles that will be coming out that are solicited. I was excited because I heard it's not necessarily a facsimile, but some very long out of print Bronze Age Wonder Woman is going to be put together in a softcover collection for the DC Finest line, and that's coming out in early July. So these would be like some of the issues, about 23 issues, the last 23 issues of Volume 1 before Crisis, and then her last appearance in DC Comics Presents, and her guest appearance in a Blue Devil comic book are all going to come out together collected. So I was kind of excited to see that, because especially that era, they don't do a lot of stuff with that. And there's some really comic books from the Bronze Age of Wonder Woman that I really enjoy that aren't even on the DC app. So
yeah. Other news. Back to switching gears, back to movies. We reported a while ago that Clayface was getting a standalone film being produced by Matt Reeves, but it's not clear that if it's in the Matt Reeves verse or it's in the DCU verse, because then technically it would I forget who the guy who plays Clayface or voices Clayface in that Creature Commandos episodes, or if he would be coming back, I have no idea. But it landed a director. The guy who did Speak No Evil, James Watkins, will be directing the DC version of Clayface movie. So that's kind of fun. And that's slated for September 11th, 2026 for showing. So very fun. And apparently that James Gunn is doing it very differently. Back during the Snyderverse, like they would pitch movies, they would announce them before they got any momentum at all. But James is doing it the opposite way. Movies are being pitched. There's a script is being written, and if the script gets approved, then they're going to announce the movie. So, which I think is a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Prevents letdown because we were let down a lot, which is good. But yeah, so that's
it
that's
also
exciting.
helps a little bit with market speculation because I mean, over on the Marvel side, I mean, for years they'd say Mephisto is coming, and his first appearance just shot all the way up price wise, and then everyone said he was going to be in the second Doctor Strange movie. He wasn't there at all. There is no Mephisto yet in the MCU.
We're still waiting. That was like peak COVID. I remember that. He couldn't escape it. And now we still have no Mephisto. Not even a tease.
No, not even a tease.
So I know I want to talk Marvel for just a second. I know it's rare, but Daredevil. Did you catch a Netflix series of Daredevil?
I watched some of the first. I really need to go back and watch that. So right now I don't have a Netflix subscription.
Okay. Are you going to check out maybe some of the newer Daredevil stuff?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I liked his episode that he guest starred in on She-Hulk.
Okay, yeah. That's true. Yeah, he was in She-Hulk. And he was in the Spider-Man movie where he caught that brick. I like that's how his comeback for everything is. How did you do that? He's always like, well, I'm a really good lawyer. Like, okay, did they teach you that in law school? I love Mephisto. It's great. Yeah,
stirring the pot.
Even New World. Yeah.
You know what? Scratch out their eyes.
Was Mephisto in that movie? I don't think so.
I haven't seen the movie. I think
he's just pulling that. Maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe he's joking.
I think he's
he's stirring. He's trolling. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Joel says he was named in Agatha. I didn't see that at all. I had no offense to Agatha, but the actress is great, but the character I could care less about. So I didn't watch it. Probably won't unless I'm somewhere where it's already playing. So, but news-wise, that was kind of it. That's not a whole lot going on.
Okay. Well, I mean, what is going on is kind of big, though.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, I mean, the DC and Marvel announcements. And,
yeah.
What we had was kind of big, so
it was very big. It was very big. It was very girthy. A lot of meat.
Yeah,
a lot of meat on that bones. Gosh, this stupid website with the comics. It does not play well with my ad blocker.
I'll do it tonight. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but I still need mine up so I can read it with. But luckily, I won't be able to show anything. Yeah, and that's good for your channel.
I'll get yours too. So
yeah, I still got to pull mine up so I can at least look at it. Okay.
So tonight we are going to. That's not showing, is it?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see this?
Yeah, the Catwoman. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. It's just a little bit different than what I'm used to on my side. Oh, yeah, I guess it says it is sharing.
Yeah.
I'm using a different browser than I normally use. So, and we're still on the screen too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
We can see each other. They can see us. We can see the Catwoman book. We're all set.
Wonderful. So I picked this tonight. This is Catwoman Volume 2. We'll start with issue 1. And she had a miniseries prior to this, but this was her first ongoing book that came out in 1993, and we're going to cover the first 2 issues tonight in our retro review. I just thought that Catwoman was a character that we have talked about, and we've done like Batman and Catwoman stuff as the retro review before, but I don't think we've ever done just a Catwoman title from like one of her own headlining books, which is why I wanted to do something tonight. So we got a really nice Jim Balent cover there. Pretty cool, I think. It's Catwoman. And someone has just discovered that Catwoman's there, and she's like, this is not going the way that I planned. And she wasn't expecting these guards to be in the museum, in this part of the museum. But they see her, they know that she's there, they said let's get her. And she says, well, in your dreams. And as they start shooting at her, they're calling for reinforcements. They got an intruder. Catwoman is in there. She's in the early man exhibit. They need help. And she's like, I avoided all the motion sensors. I avoided the electric eye. How did they know I was there? And the cops are telling her to freeze. And look at this great move where she's just kind of jumping backwards to take out that cop. And they said, don't move. I got you covered. And she says, covered in what? And then she gets a little bit playful, when he tells her to put her hands up. And I thought that was cute and very much like the character. But she whips out the cat o' nine tails and hits him pretty good and knocks him out. And she still wonders what triggered that silent alarm. But we find out, looks like it was a mouse there that bumped into it. But she's out of the museum now, and it looks like she has what she came in there to get. So she goes after Leopold and says, hey, I've got him. And Leopold is with somebody. And she's not the craziest to see this person because they're checking up on her. And we find out this is someone who works for Bane. And she says, you can tell Bane I don't appreciate being checked up on. And he says, well, you're too suspicious. Now that you work for Bane, I thought I'd save you the inconvenience of delivering the items. So she's got some jewels, and she wants to know when she's getting her share. And he's like, far too suspicious. Send Leopold or on later to get their cut. And as Catwoman starts to change so she can walk through the streets and not be as recognized as Catwoman, he apologizes for the guy being there. He caught him off the guard. And she says, well, we can't get too mad because we work for them. And he's like, we do? She's like, yes, but I don't like being spied on and surprised. And he's like, well, I guess in this day, that's the price of doing business. And she reminds him that smoking's a filthy habit. And he said, filthy habits are part of my charm. And she says, what makes you think that you're charming? She gets home and there's Arizona. And she says, sell. And then she stops herself. And the guy's like, sell what? And Catwoman is going over, because we know, of course, she was going to call her Selina and then called herself. And she goes over to check in on her cats. And she tells Arizona that Bane takes the loot, gives us the cut. It's no fuss, no bother. And Arizona starts complaining about the guy smoking again to Leopold. And Catwoman sees this magazine, this Fame magazine, and suggests that perhaps these two wealthy individuals could be their next target. And she says, go ask Bane for the approval for us to go after him next. So he takes off and says, sweet dreams. And Catwoman throws a pillow at Arizona. She throws one back. Arizona starts questioning, how do you stand him, as Catwoman starts changing. She says, he's everything I like in a man. Weak and cowardly, but brilliant. He agrees with whatever I say, and he's decorative, but that doesn't mean I trust him. So she's changed into her clothes, and she scolds Arizona a little bit about almost saying Selina out loud, her real name. And she says, you'll be a lot sorrier if my enemies ever learn where we live. One accurate fact might be enough to kill us. And she says, but as long as no one knows the name is genuine, I like being able to call myself Selina Kyle. And then Arizona asks why she trusted her in the first place. And she says, they kind of do a brief recap, how she saw her as a runaway. And there was a predator that was after her, and she saved her from the predator. And that's essentially how she took her on. And she also, I should mention at this point too, has wiped her name from all of the police records and news media of any connection to her and Catwoman. So that was a high price. A little bit earlier up here, she mentioned that too. I believe it was a high price that she had to pay to get some freedom by getting her name disassociated. Now she's sharing the fact that she got a little trinket for one of her own cats that she stole from the museum and held back and didn't give to Bane. And Arizona's like, oh, you sure that's smart? And she's like, so what? I don't do crime so somebody else could steal my loot and then toss me a cut, like I'm an office salaried worker. Bane runs the city like a king, but he doesn't run me. So over in Bane's hideout, here we have Trog. And Trog is talking to Bane, saying there's a hitman in town who's looking for you. That's the word on the street. And he's like, well, this is interesting because if we don't eliminate him, or if we eliminate him and aren't able to identify his master, then another one will keep coming. The master, whoever hired him, will keep sending someone to get him. And then he's wondering if anyone knows the real name of Catwoman. They say they tried. We keep finding names, but never the same name twice, and every name we trace leads us to the morgue. She must own the ID of half of the dead girls in this city. So Bane sends them out, and he says, I'd be disappointed. Her true identity really means nothing. Catwoman is defined by what she made herself, as was the Batman, as am I. And then we kind of get a little recap of Bane's origin, how he came to be, including the chemicals that were pumped and still flow through his veins, and the breaking of Batman's back. So Bane puts on his costume or his mask, I should say, and he says, it would be convenient to have some type of hold over Catwoman. She swears she will serve me, but no feline is noted for obedience. So send in her follower. So Leopold comes in. He's getting his cut, and they're complaining about his smoking as well. And he passes along the message, here's these people on this magazine. She'd like to make them the next target. What do you think? He's like, do you agree with her? And he's like, hey, I trust her instincts. The party they're giving next week would be a good time to strike, and collectors everywhere will want to get their hands on Tiffany, who's one of the wealthy that they're going to target, on her jewels. So Bane says, yes, you have my permission. And he says, by the way, he says this to Leopold, I'd consider carefully before you join her in any acts of disloyalty. And he turns and says, if I see any sign she might turn, I'll let you know. And he's like, there's been no such sign. And he's like, not so far. And Bane's like, excellent and good night. So Bane finds it interesting that he makes no attempt to defend his mistress against in any way, shape, or form. He says, Leopold is anyone's dog. And I see now how one of my concerns may be applied to address the other. So here we have another one of Bane's goons over there that is meeting up with someone else at this little diner. And they make an interesting observation that Bane is in love, and where love is concerned, he's a fool. Attack his woman, Catwoman, and he'll come out of hiding to avenge her. So this is the person that's after Bane, and the plan is to attack Catwoman. So we fast forward about a week now, and here are the targets of the Catwoman's next crime. Burke and Tiffany, one of Gotham's rich and famous, and she's got these dazzling jewels. So the jewels have just arrived via armored car. Leopold's outside, and he's talking with Catwoman. And he says, well, I'm surprised that you didn't just walk the red carpet and slip right in there. You would have been right at home. And she said, yes, but I would have been filmed by every news crew in the country. It's easier for me to have just come in with a caterer. She says, I'll be out soon. He says, take your time. And then all of a sudden, you see the goon approaching Leopold with a gun to his head, who has some questions. So inside, it looks like Tiffany has gotten out of the shower, and she tells Burke that she's sorry that shower felt so good that she lost track of time, but don't turn on the light. I like the shadows. And he's like, well, you're not dressed. And she's like, I want it to be perfect for you. And he's like, you are. And there almost would be some spaghetti sauce stirring going on, but she sees the jewels, and she says, help me on with them. I won't be much longer. So he puts the jewels on her, and she says, okay, just give me a moment. I'll hurry. Then all of a sudden the lights click on, and there's the real Tiffany. So who was that he was talking to? It was none other than Catwoman, who's just escaped with the jewels. And she talks to Leopold how, for 2 wet kisses and a splash of his wife's perfume, he bought it. And Arizona's like, well, how could he be fooled? This was his wife. And she says, well, Tiffany and I are the same size. That's why I picked her. Show a man what he expects to see, and he won't look beneath the surface. She says, speaking of which, Bane will want to see these tonight. So she's got the jewels, and she tells Leopold to deliver them before he comes looking. And he says, right. And Catwoman was asking if something's wrong. He says, no, I'm out of smokes. And she's like, well, good. So he leaves, and Catwoman tells Arizona that she's kept a little something back again for herself. And then outside, it looks like someone's getting ready to cause some panic. The cats start to scatter. That's the first sign to Catwoman that something's wrong. They fire kablooey. The house apparently seems to be going up, and it's to be continued. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. We'll get into the second issue in just a moment, too. Joel's saying that he has this run. That's cool. So what do you think of, briefly, what do you think of the costume so far?
It's an interesting costume. I can think of a few actresses I think could really pull this off.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't even know how to explain this, but they are very much pandering to their audience of the time.
Yes.
Predominantly dominated by probably college age men at the time. When did this come out? What was the year?
93.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Probably a lot of men reading these, and it probably shows. But hey, you gotta go. Your target audience. You give them what they want. So,
yeah.
Hey, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So issue 2, where we pick up. That's a great cover, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me. I had to go back and read like the first couple paragraphs, especially the first line that says, "I don't think Arizona ever knew what hit us." And I was like, "Arizona? Catwoman's in Arizona?" Like, I'm so confused. But yes, she's saying how she was very confident that Arizona never knew what really happened, and the cats, they were running for cover, like that was the first big giveaway that probably something was wrong. And the gas lines in the kitchen were either cut or blown or somehow disrupted because the explosion was bigger than the missile that hit the building. So there's probably a lot of circumstances to make that happen. So once we're done with the recap, we pick up here where the issue takes off is, Catwoman is, in her head, she's having this monologue that someone tried to kill me, and that her, life, could have been a total loss. But she actually, right before she's about to jump out of a window, she's like, Arizona, she's probably still alive. I should go back and help her. And that's what she does. She starts tearing through the rubble and finds Arizona. And she's correct. She looks like she's still alive. And this is right when I picked up that, Arizona's the name of the girl. Like, okay, gotcha. So her and Arizona are getting ready to jump out the window, and there's already some firemen on scene, and they've got like that big tarp where they pull, or not a tarp, some kind of blanket or something. They're pulling it apart, making it real stretchy so she can safely jump. And that's what she does. She goes ahead, she jumps, she gets down, and their first responders are on scene. They start taking care of Arizona, and Catwoman, unbeknownst, doesn't see that the gunman was in the crowd kind of watching the whole thing. So she takes off in search of what would be gunman she can find. Arizona gets shoved into the ambulance and is quickly whisked off to the hospital. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word for a second. We cut to some goons, and they're watching everything on the news, and they're talking about, did Catwoman survive? And one person seems to come to the consensus that there's no way Catwoman survived, and the other person says, yeah, I think Catwoman lived. She's very hard to kill. People tried to kill her in the past, doesn't really work. We cut to the gunman in his hotel room at the Gotham Center Hotel, and he's kind of shaven, and he's on the phone with somebody. He's clearly changing his identity. He's shaving. He's, I didn't know why he was wearing his. I don't know why, but I thought he was wearing his sunglasses in the shower. But I digress. But he's colored his hair. He's black hair now. He was black. Now he's blonde. He's getting in the cab, and he's ready to beat feet out of town before Catwoman comes, taking off to the airport. We cut to Catwoman, Selina Kyle, in the alley, and she's, still kind of beat up and kind of really doesn't know where to start this whole thing. And, her cats come, and they were able to get out. So she was very thankful to see her cats. Is it weird to call her a crazy cat lady? She's got way too many cats. Like, that's got to be a health hazard. There's a lot of cats. And I don't know how she got away with that in an apartment complex, but, whatever. So she's kind of petting her cats, and like I said, she's very happy to see them. We cut to somebody on a bridge, and they're kind of emptying about. And it was the gunman, and he's killed the cab driver, put him in the trunk, and now he's kind of emptying him out of the trunk, and he's chucking him over the bridge. And he's taking the cab, and you can see he's off to Metropolis. We cut to I forget this guy's name. Leopold. That's right, Leopold. Because I had one blurb with his name in it. It was this one. Without reading yours. So Leopold and the missus there are kind of trying to figure out what happened, and so there's a knock at the door or buzz at the door. I'm sorry, and it's Selina Kyle, and he knows her as Angel, and she's kind of shoving the missus out of the room. So just it's Selina and Leo, and I like the excuse here. The mistress was saying, I don't understand what's going on, and Leopold's like, oh, she's my boss. I mean, that makes total sense. Why she comes over dressed like the way she does in the middle of the night? Oh, she's my boss. Like, okay, fair enough. So, she slept, or Selina Kyle is sleeping. The Mr. Leopold is on the computer typing away, and it's morning at this time. He wakes her up and says, "Hey, I've got include this. I've got a list for you, and it includes every supplier who carries that type of ordinance, within the city or whatever." So she's got the name of everybody, and she just goes just on an absolute rampage. Just tearing through Gotham, trying to get someone to talk. And she just needs a name. And she finally finds one. And she's being interrogating him. He's not clicking up any names. He's not giving anything out. But the last scene that you see is like her claws like against his face like that. And then we cut to the hospital where Selina is talking with Arizona, or actually the doctors. Arizona's still unconscious, and she's kind of saying, hey, this is, someone I've been caring for a long time. So, I'm not really a parent, so to speak. I don't know what to do. But she we find out at this point that, Arizona doesn't really have a good relationship with her family. So she doesn't really know what to do, but, the doctor does say that there is a good chance that she'll recover, but at this time she can't really leave the hospital. We cut over to a church where a nun is feeding cats, and we see that in the foreground that Catwoman is coming. She's carrying like a fistful of cash, and she wants to make a contribution. And that Catwoman is saying like, hey, I'm going to make this contribution. Make sure that Arizona's okay. Keep on feeding the cats, which I thought was pretty funny. And they have this really funny dialogue about blasphemy, because Catwoman has a line, very very harmless line. She says, "Oh, for heaven's sake!" And the nun's like, "Hey, you can't say that. That's blasphemy." Like, I'm like, come on, like, are you gonna get her on that? It's Catwoman. Mm-hmm. Out of all this scenario that's happening, that's the part you're gonna take away from it. Like, okay, sister. Anyway, but she says, "Hey, look after my pet pals, and spare a few prayers for me, and I'm out of here." So she goes and visits Leopold one more time. They finally get a name and an itinerary. It looks like this guy that she's chasing is leaving the country or has already left the country. And so she makes her way down to Gotham Airport, Gotham International. And there, I gotta say, the airplane they're on for WinCorp looks cool. That is a cool looking plane. I don't know why. I've always liked planes, but man, there's something cool about that one. That one looks like a super flies crazy fast. But anyway, we cut to inside the plane. We have a a very funny looking Alfred Pennyworth. I don't know why. It just cracks me up that's just really funny. You know, they just the way they drew it, like man, they did him dirty, in my opinion. Yeah, they're having a conversation about, you know, what's kind of happening, what they're going to do when they get there, and that that Selina Kyle is going to the country that they're currently en route to. She's a member of the Children. What is it? The Children with AIDS Foundation. And she's saying that she's on the committee, and they're going there for some kind of big contribution, whatever. But I've got to say,
recalling the night that they met.
Yeah, if you scroll down to the next panel, I got to say, this is the sneakiest way to sneak in a Batman. Right there, right at the bottom. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Just a shadow down at the bottom. Man, I thought that was pretty wild. So, yeah, it's kind of convenient that, you know, I got to back up here for a second. So, Selina Kyle has this person in the hospital that she cares a lot about, doesn't have really the means to take care of her, right? So she goes to a church to like help take care of her cats and, you know, to say a prayer for her friend and maybe contribute a little to like medical costs, whatever. But if she has to go to another country, she goes right to Bruce Wayne to get a private jet on an international destination. Like, bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. But anyway, they arrive at the country of Santa Prisca. It's probably some made-up town or country. But as soon as they land, you know, they're surrounded by that country's military, and they kind of leave us with this kind of cliffhanger. You know, we're not sure what's really going to happen. There's a lot of military personnel. Maybe they weren't supposed to be there. I'm not sure. Maybe they'd have the clearance, but it looks like they are moving in on this Wayne jet. So that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And Catwoman is having this inner dialogue where she's saying this whole thing is probably her fault and things are, you know, not looking good, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wraps up issue 2.
Yeah. As Roger says, it's good to have friends in high places. Joel says she made a cattribution. That was a true shadow of the Bat.
Yeah, I stand in for Havana or Bogota. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
so that's the first 2 issues. What did you think of these first 2 issues, and what would you grade them? Just comments, thoughts about the stories in general.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of dealings with Catwoman. Although I'd say my personal favorite Catwoman is probably Anne Hathaway. I really liked her portrayal in The Dark Knight. I looking at your shirt, maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe. But yeah, I like this issue. It was a lot of fun. It was, I don't really read too many early 90s Catwoman, or like I said, any Catwoman at all, but this was refreshing. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10.
Okay. So for me, I've always wanted to read issue 1. I enjoyed issue 1 so much that as soon as I got done with it, I went and read issue 2 immediately, even though that's not my review tonight. I just wanted to read it. And I finished with 2, and I'm curious to see what would go on next, you know, or how the story would pick up. So it's left me at a place where I'm like, yeah, I'm interested to see. So I will give it 8 cat scratches as well for tonight. Just enjoyed it. Like I said, we've done some Catwoman stuff before, but it's always been tied to Batman. I wanted to do something that was more focused on a headlining book of hers. So I think that was a good choice for tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll start as we move into the book show and promote our channels. I have a back issue of the week YouTube short currently on my channel that ties into the Captain America movie that's out right now. And then I had belated Christmas presents from my friend Mr. Fridge Art, which included this shirt that I'm wearing tonight, the Scratch Out Their Eyes. That was a Christmas present. So this is my first wearing of it. That video, that comic book editions video, is already on my YouTube channel. So you can catch all that already. If you've already watched, thank you so much. If you already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. What's coming up tomorrow? I have a DC group as part of my back issue of the week YouTube short. Then on Tuesday, for my next comic book editions video, Tony likes signatures, right?
Yeah.
Tony likes Shazam, right?
Yeah.
Tony needs to watch my comic book editions volume 228 video dropping on Tuesday then, because Tony will like what's in that video.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Oh, Roger's asking who wrote this, and I had that just a little bit ago. Let me take a look again. It is, give me one moment, Joe Duffy.
Joe Duffy.
Yeah, J-O Duffy.
Joe Duffy, okay.
Well, I don't want to confuse, like it looks like it's a female Joe. Like a short for Joanne, not a J-O-E. So, thank you. So, yes, you should watch that for Tuesday because it is an MegaCon A-OK from Bronze Age Brian. So
very cool.
And there's some other
he's
stuff
a big Shazam guy too. So
yeah, he is. And you know, I haven't met a Bronze Age comic book I didn't like. So as for book show, I got a few different things that I thought would be fun. Since we talked about in the news today, we're going to get a new DC and Marvel team up. How about the original DC and Marvel team up?
There you go.
Just got this recently. I got this year after wanting this for a while. And yeah, Brian is a great guy. And we'll show the back cover as well.
Didn't they just come out with, wasn't that a facsimile not long ago?
No, I think you're thinking of Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Muhammad Ali.
Although this did come out as part of an omnibus, but it's not in Treasury size.
Okay.
There's a DC versus Marvel omnibus that just came out, which includes this. And then I wanted to show something else. I thought this would be fun, and this is something I really haven't shown on my YouTube channel, and something that I need to spend more time showing and more time with. So today I'm going to delve in. I'm just going to show it first, and then we'll talk about it.
Oh.
To Ryan,
wow,
you're perfect, Julie Newmar.
Wow, that's the same Catwoman.
Yeah, same Catwoman is on my shirt. Yeah.
Ah, I just now noticed.
And
she's your favorite. Your opinion is so biased.
Well, I mean, there's been other people who've played Catwoman.
Oh wow!
For Ryan, meow. Sincerely, Lee Merriweather with a cat face.
Lee Merriweather. That's exciting.
Yes. And then when it comes to the Batman 66 TV show, the Catwoman that interacted with Batman, there was still one more that played Catwoman. To Ryan,
there's a treasure.
Eartha Kitt. Now, imagine if her last name had been Kitten. It would have been almost like it was meant to be.
It was, yeah.
But there's the 3 autographs I have from the Batman 66 Catwomen. I love, did you ever see the second, you know, they did these Batman 66 animated movies. Did you ever see the second one?
No, I saw the first one.
The second one had a little bit of a spoiler, but I mean, this is an old movie. I'm going to give it away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has a moment where Batman gets drugged and he looks at Catwoman and he sees 3 Catwomen, and one is Julie Newmar, one is Lee Merriweather, and one is Eartha Kitt. And he's all drugged up and he can't tell who is who, and he sees 3 different Catwomen.
That
was my favorite part of that movie. William Shatner actually does a voice in that movie too.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. It's fun. Looks like I'm getting the seal of approval from Roger on my autograph.
That's very exciting. So, question: where did you meet these Catwomen?
I didn't. I didn't meet any.
Oh, okay.
So,
gotcha.
Joel Julie Newmar does sell autographs on her website. I believe she still does. And if you order the picture that is the pose that they used for that movie, she will like sign it to Joel. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. That's how she always inscribes that photo. So I should get one of that photo, which is like a swimsuit pinup of her pre-Catwoman. So To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar was a movie, for those that don't know. That was the name of the movie. So
that's funny. She's got to be up there in age now.
Yeah, but she's awesome.
I don't doubt that. I'm not doubting that at all.
I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of Batman 66 autographs.
I don't think I have a single one.
Not to brag, but besides what I showed you, I have Batman, I have Robin, I have Batgirl, I have Riddler, I have Grace Whitley, who is Star Trek fame, but she was one of the villains in a Batman 66 episode. I have her in the Batman costume. Gosh, I know I have more than that too. I don't have Joan Collins as Siren, and I would like to have that.
Joan. There you go.
Yeah.
Go.
So that's my book show tonight.
Very cool.
What's going on with your channel, and what do you have for a book show?
Channel wise, I think I'm still in the doghouse for a while. I was just on a live stream with the Sig Slayers. We're trying to do a little bit more of that. Good friend Mike. I was joined by Mark, the Honorable Villain, and Southern Comic Book Geek, whose his collection always blows my mind.
Jason's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great dude, and every day he pulls out just like, I got this thing laying around, and this is just badass piece of art, and it's just like, come on, man, like knock it off. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I would love to do more shorts, but honestly, the shorts that I produce now, since I'm in the doghouse, are really struggling to hit double-digit views. And I can always tell when I'm out of the doghouse because I get the exact opposite effects. I go like straight to like a few hundred, like within the first few minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll get out of it eventually. But there's content coming, I promise. I just don't know when. But for a book show, I don't really have too many Catwoman comics. The only one that I really knew that I had that I thought was really kind of cool was the Catwoman 80th anniversary. This is the Stanley Archer variant cover. But on that, like I really struggled to find anything Catwoman related. So
I have one of those 80th anniversaries. I don't have that cover, but I have a different one.
This is called the 80s. It just says 80s variant.
80s,
yeah. It's pretty cool. I collected the Green Lantern, the Joker, Catwoman. I forget how many there are, but I think I have all of them, if not most of them. But yeah, unfortunately, no signature tonight on this book. What's good and bad about these is each one probably has like 100 people working on the title.
Yeah.
So it'd be really hard to fill that one up. But
share a cover with us on Instagram. Let's see your own version of the book show. Just use the hashtag Fanboys Live and the Retro Review.
Yes. Please do so. Lots of cool stuff coming. Subscribe to us. Also subscribe to the panel. If you have not subscribed to anybody in the panel, absolutely, please do. People putting out some great content. I do want to highlight real quick. I know we've already talked about it, but I want to talk about it again. Metarog's doing a push for more subs. I think it's 1,900 was the big push. Maybe he made it. I haven't checked in a while. I apologize if this is old news, and I'm sure he's already blown that goal out of the water, but definitely go check out Metarog and get him not just to 1,900. Let's push him to 19,000 if we could.
Yeah,
by the end of the day, that would be great.
Yeah, Metarog will be here next week. Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe will be with us next week.
What a lineup!
She found out that Metarog was going to be on. She's like, I'm on. So,
oh, look at that! I told you, he already passed it.
Awesome.
See, I knew it.
1919, the year I was born. Anything else you want to talk about, Tony?
No. Next week's going to be a seriously killer show. So definitely tune in. And we're doing a giveaway next week.
Oh, there's a giveaway coming next week.
Yes, we are
giving a giveaway and Shabab in 1 week.
Big, I mean, not huge giveaways, but fun giveaways.
But that's a big show to get all of that in one. That's going to be fun.
All that in one. All that in one.
Well, thank you to everyone who was here in the live chat. If you watched on the rewind, thank you for making it all the way to the end. We can't wait to see you next week. Until then, be happy, healthy, and safe. I know we didn't do the show on a Catterday, but we still had fun anyway with Catwoman tonight. Oh, and there's a little note from Joel, too. So, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
check out the comics.
Night.
I know, I'm very excited.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.